mind me. Good morning, everybody. Morning has broken, and I am your consecrated host. If you would give me just 1 second. I am missing some equipment today. Not was stolen. It was at home or in the other car that we don't have with us right now. So, we're just going to have to wait 1 second. How's this go? Oh, perfect. Right there. All right. So, morning is broken. It is Monday, June 15th. And I don't have a host yet. So, I am very excited to announce the person who maybe begrudgingly said that they would come on. She is the administrative assistant. She is also the person that we ask to do anything and everything because she's always available, seemingly. Her and her husband, John Bonnie, pretty much keep this parish running. Well, no, let's not give John the credit because that will get to his head. If you know John, that will get straight to his head. If it wasn't for Diane, this parish would not be. The office would not go. It would just be bad. So, here is Diane Bonnie.
And a good morning to everyone. A good Monday morning. Hope everyone is well out there in Omaha land and wherever else you're watching us from.
We have people all over, Diane.
California, Florida, Texas.
Across the seas. There's people from other countries. It's
wonderful. You've put us on the map.
We're international here at Morning is Broken.
And that's what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, we want to bring Jesus to everybody. But I think people see you at almost everything. You see you and John. I'm going to put a picture up of John really quick. It might inflate his ego to say he was on TV or something. But
that will happen for sure.
This is John,
I probably won't tell him about
your
this.
Wonderful husband.
Well, he is wonderful most of the time.
Yeah, there's a couple things we can hold against him.
I'll give him that.
But, so that's John. And you see John and Diane, just pretty much everything that we do here.
Well, we enjoy being a part of the community. Certainly a joy for us. Hope people don't get too tired of seeing us. But, yeah, we're usually around most of the time.
I mean, even right now, you're going to multiple masses?
Right now we are just kind of helping, fill in a little here and there as people start coming back, and it's wonderful to see everybody coming back. It's been a little bit lonely around here. I've had several people ask me that have just seen me again recently how I've been doing, and I've said, well, I've been doing fine, but been kind of lonely, so it's just good having everybody coming back. Good to see everyone.
Yeah. And so, one of the things I wanted to talk about before you got on and I forgot, last night I took one of Father Jeff's recipes. Diane always asks me almost every day, she's like, what are you cooking for dinner tonight?
I'm trying to get some ideas because I'm running out of things. We've been eating at home a lot lately, and I'm getting tired of my cooking. My husband says he's still okay, but it's getting a little bit old, and Jonathan is quite the cook here, as you well know from the segments with Father Jeff.
Father Jeff takes all the glory. See, this is the problem. When Father Jeff, he likes, come to my kitchen and let's do this pasta because he likes saying the fancy words.
I can't even pronounce it.
Right.
It's like, you're going to make this. I can't make what I can't
pronounce.
So
what's funny about this story is I took one of his recipes, the purple plant.
Oh, the eggplant.
Eggplant. The purple plant. Eggplant. Eggplant parmesan.
Parmesan.
And it was pretty good, especially for being eggplant. But
my favorite. I love eggplant.
I'm a meatosaurus, With my kids and everything, we need some meat and protein.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
And
so
I
need to go to the chicken parmesan.
I did a chicken version of it, but it also needed to be kid friendly. And if you have like a chicken breast, I spend my whole dinner cutting up the chicken breast for the kids.
Of course, sure.
So what I did was I kind of sliced it and cut it a little bit.
You thought about a blender or something, maybe?
Well, that would no.
Okay, that's not
so
good.
I chopped it into smaller squares, cubes, sliced and chopped, and then cooked it that way. And I put it in the bottom.
Before you even cooked it, you chopped it.
Yeah, before I even cooked it.
Oh.
Because in that way, they all get a nice little sear and everything still.
Sure.
Put a little bit of salt and pepper on it.
And then
olive
you can
oil.
Eat your dinner.
Cooked it in the pan. Put it in the Pyrex afterwards. So just coated the whole bottom of the Pyrex, the little 9x9 or 8x8.
Okay.
And then I put the sauce on it, and the basil, and the mozzarella, and then the more sauce. And I didn't do towers. It was just kind of like a...
So it wasn't like a lasagna layered. It was just
No, it was just...
a...
You had the chicken, sauce, a little bit of basil, mozzarella, sauce.
I hope you're writing this down.
A little bit more
this
basil.
Will be good.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
Then we did the Parmesan on the top.
Okay.
And then the breadcrumbs on top of that. Put it in the oven.
How can you go wrong?
Oh my goodness, it was so good. And so the sauce I used, Father Jeff talked about his fancy Mount Vesuvius sauce that you get from your famous tomatoes or
so
whatever.
That's not the same as the Prego out of the
No.
jar? Oh.
No, but there's a sauce that I heard a lot of great things about, and they're selling it at Costco right now. It's Rao's, R-A-O's. And it's simple, a lot of simple ingredients. There's no extra added sugars or anything else, so it's a very pure, natural type sauce.
Okay.
And it comes in two big 28-ounce jars.
Okay.
And I used that, and oh my goodness, Diane, it was delicious. So you can also do chicken.
Well, I just might have to give that a try.
Yeah.
I'm sure whatever Jonathan suggests is good because I'm always hearing about his. Genevieve is very lucky to have this man.
Oh, you did stop.
Yeah, well, okay, I will.
So, so that's enough about me. I know when Father Jeff's gone, I thought, I was looking for a co-host this weekend and just wondering, like, well, maybe I could just do it myself. And then I just thought about
maybe you should have.
The number of viewers just plummeting and plummeting and plummeting.
Oh, dear.
And so someone suggested maybe reaching out to the deacons. Deacons weren't quite available, or it was just too short notice. So I didn't really feel comfortable, and then you stepped up and said, well...
I'm not sure I really stepped up. There was a little coaxing here.
I maybe voluntold
let's
you.
Let's be honest.
Voluntold.
There you go. Okay.
Where I told you to volunteer and just
yeah.
said, hey, well, I don't have anything else, so it's...
I didn't see this in my job description, and I'm not sure it's there, but...
Well, you know how the job description goes here.
Well, that's it. You just never know.
You get 1 page of a job description and 50 pages of,
whatever happens.
Other duties as specified.
For sure. Yeah.
And
but it's good to be with you.
Yeah.
It's good to join you this morning. I hear you from afar, typically in the morning show, so it's kind of nice to be here with you now that I'm here.
Yeah, you're like, I can't wait to get out. She told me we're ending right at 10, so if you have somewhere to be...
We'll be done.
This is your show.
There you go.
All right. So, you've been a part of St. Charles since the very beginning. What does that mean?
From the very beginning, yeah. A good friend of mine lived over across the way here in Sugar Creek. She called me one day and said, Pastor Hunky, who we both had known from previous lives, is going to be the new pastor at the new parish that they're just starting. And she said, I'm going to have him over for dinner. She said, I want you and John to come because we had known him from Holy Cross back many, many years ago. When John and I got married, I joined the Catholic Church. I was actually raised in the Baptist faith, and so joined the Catholic Church and went through my RCIA instruction with Father Hunky. And he baptized our son before we moved. At the time, he was at Holy Cross, and then we left that neighborhood and kind of lost touch. And when she heard about the new parish and that Father Hunky was going to be the founding pastor, she just thought it would be nice for all of us to get together.
Yeah. So where were you at that time? What parish were you at?
At that time, we were at St. Wenceslas.
Okay.
Yeah, we had moved across the way over off of 156th and Blondo, so we were at St. Wenceslas. And so anyway, we came and had dinner and just had a fun, enjoyable evening catching up. And we came to Mass then the second weekend. The first Mass was, if I have this correct, July 3rd, 2005. And John and I were at the second Mass that next weekend on a Saturday night, and I believe there were 11 of us. So it was a little bit of a slow start with our boombox, but here we are almost.
Was that in the gym or is this in like the rectory?
No, this was in the gym. This was in the gym at Reeder Elementary School. They had made arrangements to use their facility for Masses, so that's where we met for the first 5 years until the facility was built that we're in now.
Sure.
And it was looking back, those of us that were there think, how did we do that? But at the time you don't know any different, you don't know any better. You just make things work.
Yeah.
And it was definitely a learning and a growing experience for all of us, there in the beginning. And and here we find ourselves today, almost 15 years later.
Yeah, I want to turn back time even more.
Yeah.
Where were you born and raised?
I was born in, my folks are from a small town just about 35 miles south of here. When they got married, they grew up together, actually born on the same day, grew up together, knew each other their whole entire lives. When they married, they moved to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where my dad went to LSU.
Cajun country.
That's right, yes. So I lived there for the first 6 years of my life, and then they decided to come back to Omaha, miss family and friends and that sort of thing. So
do you have any memories of Louisiana?
Yeah, I really do. I have memories of my preschool. I remember I was not a good napper, and I still remember them, telling me that I needed to lay down and take a nap, and I would never go to sleep. So I can remember them putting like a little toilet paper over my eyes to try to make me go to sleep. I'm not sure if that worked, but I remember that, and I remember some of the kids. I remember riding the bus with my dad. He would drop me off at preschool then when he went to work. So I remember that, and I remember our house, and we lived out kind of in the country and had some animals. We had ducks and chickens and dogs.
Well, that's perfect for a little kid.
And we visited there every year because Mom and Dad made a lot of good friends down there. So we went back for summer vacations.
Oh my gosh!
Every year, and then those memories are just mosquitoes everywhere.
The mosquitoes in the summer. It's so hot.
You were born in the South.
Yeah, so I was just Houston. I was born in Mexico.
Born in Mexico.
And then when I was 3 and a half, I moved to Houston.
Okay.
But then, it's that summer, and then you get the rains, and then the little puddles. It's just a breeding ground for the mosquitoes, and they get bad.
Yeah, they do. Oh, I can remember we'd go out on the boat, out on the water down there, it's kind of like marshy.
Yeah,
I remember
marshy,
the
swamplands.
I remember the big green plants in the water and the mosquitoes. I just remember mosquitoes. So yeah, but lots of good memories. It was
the one of the things I miss the most
visit.
about being in the Houston area is all the cuisine. There's so much. At one point, Houston was known as the most diverse city in the country.
Okay. I've never been there. I've never been to Texas.
Houston's it's tough to visit Houston as a tourist because there's a lot of things to do, but nothing's close. And so, if you want to go to the beach, Galveston, from where my dad lives, Galveston's about an hour and 45-minute drive. NASA's about an hour and 30 minutes. You go to other places because it's so spread out.
Yeah, big.
And so there's things just in different places, and there's just a ton of traffic.
Yeah.
And so there's not just there is a museum district, so if you want to go to museums, but how many museums can you go to in a day? Then the zoo, it's all in. So it's a cool place.
But you're
not the most
tourist
friendly.
Some driving if you're going to see things. So how long did you live there then?
I was in Houston all the way through college until I became a focused missionary.
Okay, so that's what took you to different parts of the country, and that's how you met your wife and that sort of thing. Okay, all right.
And then you came back to Omaha. Was it Omaha proper, or were you in a suburb?
Yep. No, Mom and Dad moved back to Omaha. Dad just decided that the farm life wasn't for him, but he was definitely a weekend farmer. But yeah, back here to Omaha, and have been in Omaha ever since.
When did you go to college?
I just went to college for a year. Down in Lincoln. Just didn't know really where it was taking me, and thought, well, I'll go work for a year and then get back. Well, started working at Mutual of Omaha, and many years later, was still there.
Hey,
but
there's still time to go back.
Well, you can always go back. Yeah, I mean, I've even seriously thought about that at times, but it's kind of a fleeting thought process, at this point in my life. But yeah, Mutual was a great experience. Lots of wonderful experiences there, and
well, I think it's a good opportunity now, even just to bring up, because back then, there wasn't as much pressure to necessarily finish college, or you can't get a job.
Yeah,
and I think it still holds true. One, I was talking to my neighbor the other day, and they have a child that's about to graduate, or just graduated, and he's not really ready for college. They said he needs to mature a little bit more, and if you don't really know what you're doing,
sometimes you do, and I think that was a lot of my.
It doesn't do any good to go to college if you're not sure what you want to do. If you're just going to be wasting money, because it's expensive, and also college isn't for everybody. There's a lot of great trades and trade schools you can go to.
That's right.
And so I think the pressure, especially as I was growing up, it's you have to go to college, you have to get this degree, and then you graduate. So I was lucky enough to graduate in 2008, 2009, right within the last big recession hit. Okay. So it was awful to try to get any jobs. And you're applying places, and they want 3 to 5 years experience. But you can't get experience when you're working, when you're going to school full time. And so it's a mess, but...
Well, that's just it. Sometimes going to college, I'm not saying that's not...
It's great to go to college, but it can also be great to not go to college.
But you can, everybody has different experiences. And I guess where I landed, where I was working, I just had so many different opportunities, in the years that I was there. Just moving into different departments. I always worked as an administrator and just worked for so many different individuals and different, I worked in marketing, and I worked in investments, and I worked in the legal department, and I worked in claims. So, I just got a
ton of experience.
I really did. And it was something that I always felt I was growing. And I guess just the thought of going back to school, I felt like I was just learning so much there. And I really did. And I worked for just, great people that taught me a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure you learned more about
sometimes
the administrative stuff through that than you could have ever at college.
Exactly.
And so...
Had some wonderful experiences there. I worked for the chairman of the board, so I got to be involved in a lot of the board meetings and I met General Doolittle and Dolores Hope and just, lots of different individuals that just brought a lot of experiences.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So, yeah, it really was.
So, high school, college for a year, Mutual of Omaha.
Several years.
There's this man named John Bonney.
Right. Well, John...
And he's from Massachusetts.
He's from Massachusetts.
Is he from Boston?
From Weymouth, which is a town of about 60,000 on the South Shore, south of Boston.
Okay.
Yep, he actually worked for Mutual of Omaha at the time as well. He was working, first started out as an agent, actually pretty much right out of high school. Well, he worked a little bit in a grocery chain for a couple of years and then joined Mutual of Omaha as an agent, went to Pennsylvania as a training instructor in one of our training schools out there. And from there was offered a position in the marketing department at Mutual. And we sat probably, the officer I worked for at the time and John's desk were probably 30 feet apart. So, his phone actually was on my phone set. So that's kind of how we started talking to each other, because oftentimes he wouldn't be at his desk, so I'd just answer his phone. So that's kind of how our conversations started. And a year or so later, we were married, and his plan was to come into the home office for a year, work, get some home office experience, go back to the field. So this goes to show how plans can change in midstream.
Love does crazy things.
Well, it can, And, he likes Omaha, though. He likes the Midwest. He's even, my folks, grew up on the farm. We still have a farm. And John enjoys, going down at times and mowing and this and that and the other. And so, while he says he has cement under his feet, there's some grass growing under there as well. So, but if there's anything he misses, it's his seafood out, obviously, on the East Coast. We go back.
That's what I was going to say about what I miss about being down in Houston was the food, and especially like Cajun food. We have the couple of Cajun restaurants here that they claim they're pretty legitimate, but it's just not the same.
It's kind of like seafood here, and I'm not
seafood.
Giving anybody here a bad rap with their seafood, but when you eat seafood that comes right out of the ocean that day,
it doesn't compare.
It doesn't, and you can't expect it to.
No.
So
you can still get a good salmon at some nice restaurants here.
You can.
But
we have found some good salmon for sure.
But
and John's sister is kind enough. Every once in a while, she will send some lobster.
Lobster?
Some lobster. Lobster.
Lobster.
Yeah.
Yeah, lobster up in the Northeast. Oh my goodness, my wife and I went to Maine.
Maine.
And I have a picture, and there's just this huge lobster, and it's actually reasonably priced when you get up there because they don't have to ship it anywhere.
That's right. That's right. Well, John's sister and her husband, and we have some very good friends that used to be parishioners here, that moved to. They live in Sudbury, Massachusetts, not too far from where John grew up, and of course, every time they go out for a seafood dinner, in the Boston area, or when John's sister and her husband go up to me, and of course, we get pictures of the dinner that they're eating.
That's just rude.
Which is so cruel.
It is. Yeah, like Maryland, I got the crab cakes there, and I can't eat a crab cake anywhere else because it just isn't as good. And
I understand. Yeah.
So,
but
you met John. You got married.
John, we got married. Yep. And
you have a kid.
A couple years later, we had our son. And
do you want to shout out his name?
His name is Aaron. Yep. And he married about 5 years ago. They have 2 little ones, a 4-year-old, and he's almost 4, and our little baby girl will be a year in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I have 2 beautiful grandchildren. They live just over here in Bellbrook. Yep. So we see them quite often. No matter how old your children get, as you all well know as parents out there, they're always your children, and they're always in need of something. How do I do this? How do I do that? In fact, yesterday he was doing some landscaping, and he sent me a picture of this covering that you put down, so the weeds don't come up through. Looked pretty good, so I taught him well.
There you go.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of your family history. I'm gonna go back to the parish.
Right. Yeah.
And so you started off in Reeder. Just 11 of you that second weekend.
Well, that's how many I remember counting. Yeah. Yes.
So maybe give or take one or two.
A couple more, yeah. But it was a very small group, and we just slowly.
For 5 years.
We were in there for 5 years. We had the 3 masses. We had the one Saturday night. Started off with an 8 and a 10 on Sunday mornings. Then, for whatever reason, and I don't know that I was real involved in that, it just got changed to 9 and 11. So 3 masses.
Now, and this was because attendance grew. It wasn't the 11 or 15 people splitting up between all the masses.
No, right. Just because we continued to grow. And each weekend, you had to set up all the chairs. They let us use the piano that they kept in their storage room. So we pull the piano out, we pull out a table and make a little altar.
So it was an empty gym. You didn't have to go in there.
It was empty. Yep.
Set up Saturday
nights, yes. At the time, everyone wore name tags, so we had a group that put all the name tags out. We had to carry our bin over with, our supplies, each week. But we look back now, and still there's some of us that talk about it. It was a labor of love. Beth, one of our parishioners here, started the music for us. At first, we had a boombox for a couple of weeks, and we had a parishioner that would put the music on when it was time, and then Beth would bring in she started playing and would bring in her keyboard. And again, then the school did offer to let us use their piano, so we did have the piano available. And shortly after we started, Judy Ashmore, who most all of our parishioners know, our current musician, started doing, between her and Beth, did most of the playing and singing for Sunday masses and Saturday nights. So
cool.
Yeah, it was.
So I don't know if you could see. There's Cindy Higgins.
Oh, Candy.
Candy. Yep, it's really small right now. It's not our normal screen.
Okay.
Just said, those were the good old days.
They were.
But it's so inspiring to me because we make so many excuses sometimes not to go to mass, and there. You actually had to work to go to mass.
We had our hands full getting ready to go to mass and then leaving mass. It was kind of a full-time job in itself. But we all pitched in. We were a community. We grew together, and here we are today. And it was exciting when we moved over here. I think we were all ready. And just to be able to walk in, and there was the piano, and there were the chairs, and
my goodness.
It was exciting.
Well, then St. Charles, the worship space we have now, we get so many comments on it.
Right.
That it looks so beautiful and everything else. And we got a lot of stuff.
They don't understand why that isn't our church.
Right.
You know,
And
because
it was never meant to be the church, the full-time
No.
church anyways,
No.
except we kind of caught some breaks.
We
At the
did.
expense of some other people's unfortunate, I think St. Richard's
St. Richard's closed.
closed.
And they were kind enough to, we got, the pews that we have came from there, the Stations of the Cross, some of the candle holders on the.
Where'd the big thing in the back come from? I don't know the proper name.
Yeah, what is that? Yeah, the big lamps in the back.
Oh, I mean the big wooden thing with the stained glass. Is that St. Richard's as well?
Oh no, that was built by the architects. We had them.
Oh,
We
okay.
had them build that for us, especially for the stained glass windows. The stained glass windows that we have came from St. Richard's.
Okay.
But the architects actually designed that to put those windows in.
Very cool.
Yeah, and we did change them out there for a while, but then
Well, for about 13 or 10 years or 8 years,
Yeah.
7 or 8 years.
something like that. But just the wear and tear of doing that, they're not really designed for that.
Right.
So the decision was made just to leave the Good Shepherd in there until someday
Yeah,
when we
we
have
can
the
put 'em all on
church and we
display.
can put them all on display.
Yeah,
But
we
they're
had-
beautiful, and we were very fortunate to receive those.
Because I think we had about 5 of them. Is it 5?
7.
7. Oh, 7. Okay.
And we have 6 still currently, and the 7th one, St. Patrick, was given to St. Pat's in Gretna when they built their new parish center. And when you walk in, that stained glass is right.
Very cool.
as
And if
go
if
in.
you
They
look
had
at our
it
old
displayed.
Facebook videos, you can see us actually changing it out. I did a time lapse one time of the changing out, and
Yes.
it was really cool to see.
Mhm.
But you could tell the stained glasses would start to bend a little bit
Well, they're
and warp.
they're just not real stiff and sturdy.
They
They have
are
a lot
not.
of flexibility to them, but they want that situation so they don't crack.
Right.
But you have to be so careful with them, and we just didn't want to damage them because repairing them is quite
Yeah,
costly.
we actually
There's-
did a couple repairs, and it was
did.
very expensive.
and they're just so beautiful. And the history behind them, we just don't want to do any more damage to them than we need to. So
Yeah.
hopefully someday
And they're in
I'll see
storage.
them again.
Even just the storage boxes for them. It's these huge wooden crates
Yes.
that keeps them, and there's a lot of protection.
Yes.
But
we have them safe and sound for now.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And
yeah.
and we are coming up on our 15th anniversary.
We are. Our 15th anniversary will be July 3rd, 2020.
Yeah.
So 15 years ago. Is that right? Is my math right there?
It is 15.
15 years ago. So, with everything kind of happening in the world right now, unfortunately, we won't be able to have a celebration, but we are not going to forget our anniversary. And as soon as
No.
as soon as we can all gather again and have a reception, we're going to celebrate
Yeah,
our
we
15
got
years.
15 years is a big deal. And I think
Yes.
I get back from Houston, from Texas that day.
Oh, okay.
We're flying
All
back.
right. That's right. Yeah, you're off to a little family reunion.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. But yeah, well, you'll just have to remember to say happy birthday to St. Charles.
Yeah.
on
Is there any
July
events that have happened here at St. Charles over the last 15 years that you could really just remember?
Oh gosh.
Just like really big ones.
Well, I remember the weekend before we actually had our first mass. We had an open house, and just watching, the people coming in and their faces. I mean,
The first mass here.
Well, this
Or
was
in the
the
gym.
weekend before. No, in our
And
in
this
our
Okay.
in our church, we had the weekend before the first mass. We had an open house, and just watching everybody, because they've been through the whole building process and would hear things and saw the building going up, but nobody was really involved in coming in at that time.
Sure.
So this was really the first opportunity that parishioners had to just come and just take their time. We had it open from, 2 to 5 or something like that. I don't remember the exact time frame, but they could just come and look at the artifacts that we had gotten. The Carrara marble altar that we
Mhm.
have came from Mount Michael, and the Ambo part came from St. Pat's in Gretna, and chairs up there from the old St. Wenceslas. I hope I've got all that right, but
Phyllis will come
Phyllis,
in.
yeah, she will correct. She'll
Phyllis,
correct me if I
besides
don't.
just doing
she's our historian.
She is our historian, and
She-
she loves this stuff.
She was here from day one and has been in the building process from the very beginning. So she would certainly have the in-depth knowledge. And but so that was just exciting. Just I guess from being in the very beginning to then see where we had come. And then of course when the Archbishop was here to dedicate the building in June.
Right.
We had our first Mass in May, came the end of June, and dedicated the building. Had a big reception, so that was just very exciting. And then, our first baptism here, the first wedding, just all those things are kind of things that I remember.
Not my first day of work?
Of course, that was, back about a year ago? 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
We're approaching 3 years of me being here.
I don't know how we got along without you either. It's been a blessing having you for sure.
Well, I know you keep Father Jeff in line, you keep me in line, you keep us in line.
Well,
you make sure Jackie stays on task and
that's right.
make sure she doesn't bother us too much.
You got to watch that, Jackie, for sure. But in all reality, this is a fun group. We have fun together. We get our work done.
This has been the work environment here has been a true blessing. I know.
Well, and just during this whole thing, just being able to come here, and there's just them and the few of us, and we've been kind of a tight knit group here for the last 3 or so months. So again, it's wonderful seeing everybody starting to come back, but we've kind of bonded and kind of kept each other a little bit on the same side.
Yeah,
if that's possible.
And I think it takes a little. It takes a village to keep this thing running, and it really does.
And I know Jonathan and Father have done a lot for all of you watching too, just to keep us all connected.
Yeah. Well, you were worried about ending right at 10.
Yes.
We were at almost 10:05.
Time to stop talking.
Yeah, I think we can, give you a break. Okay. You did not take one. Did you take any sips?
I didn't have a sip of my coffee. I will.
She said she had to get her mug of coffee and then.
I had to get my coffee.
See, usually when Father Jeff is talking, or if I don't know what to say.
Kind of a cup of coffee time. Drink of coffee. Okay.
Cup of water, since coffee tastes terrible. But yeah, if you're I have to do something. But this time just flew by, and we just talked the whole time.
Laughed our way through it, didn't we? Yeah. Well, it was fun being with you on this Monday morning. I hope you all have a good day and stay cool and.
Yeah, and we love it when people stop in. I know Diane's the first person you see if you stop in. I think Karen Kneifel just said she loves stopping by, and she stopped in a couple times, and now that she actually knows who I am, she's she comes in up to me and talks to me now, and so.
So that's been a good thing too, just for the people to get to know the staff a little bit better. I know they've met several, and hopefully we can get
now you know a little bit more about Diane.
A little bit more.
And what's brought her here and why she's so dedicated. You've been here since the beginning, and you help keep this place afloat. Yeah. So.
Now don't talk too much. I'll just start crying. You know how.
Diane loves St. Charles and the community here, and she's. So Father Jeff will be back tomorrow.
Yes, he will.
And just have a blessed day. Enjoy the nice, warm, humid weather. It's a good day for a run.
That's right.
God bless you guys.